In this lecture, you will see how you can use Checkstyle to inspect the code. The code inspection report is later used in a Jenkins job during continuous inspection step of the CI/CD pipeline. Checkstyle is a tool that is used by Java programmers to check their code against coding standards. These standards are set up in a configuration file. There are several industry standard coding styles that are freely available for download. There are some that are available from Google, some from Sun, and so on. Ant uses a task called Checkstyle to run Checkstyle code quality checks. Let us now quickly go to the Checkstyle website and see how it can be used with Ant. The documentation says the easiest way is to download and set up Checkstyle jar file in the class path. I have already downloaded and put it in the lib folder on my Git repository that you have already cloned. Now, in order to use Checkstyle, you need to copy-paste a task def declaration line as seen over here. Let us now look at an example as how to do it. Scroll down and see this example. The example says, run Checkstyle on a set of Java files. It seems about right. Let's get to it now. As the documentation said, let us first copy the task def line and paste it right under the build XML root element, that is, right under the project XML tag. The task def line needs the exact class path to the Checkstyle jar file. Let's give the path now. It's going to be web content webinf lib checkstyle.jar. Alright, now that the basic setup is done, let us go and create a target for Checkstyle and call it Checkstyle. As we saw earlier, we need to use the Ant Checkstyle task similar to the example we saw. We need to give it a config file. We will use the sun_checks.xml sample file that is there in the repository. We now need to give the file set directory that has all the .java files. Once that is done, let us see now how we can get a report and see if we can find any example for that in the documentation for Checkstyle. One example here seems to fit our requirement. All you need to do is you just need to give a formatter that would give us the report. Copy that line. Now save it. And now open a command window and run the command and Checkstyle. See that the target has run and has reported some errors. It also reports that the build has failed because the Java code has not passed the Checkstyle checks. Now let's take a look at the Checkstyle report that got generated. Okay, the file seems to have been created under the build directory. We need to create it in the project directory because the build directory is supposed to hold only the class files. Change the build XML to point to the project directory. Now run Ant Checkstyle again. Go back and delete the Checkstyle errors under the builds directory now that Checkstyle report is generated in the project directory. Let's go ahead and open the one that got created now. Notice that there are some errors that have been reported. There is an error for a missing package-info.java file. There is also an error that is reported for the import statement on the assert package. We can go back and fix the errors and run the build again and it will succeed. We'll just defer it for a later part of the course when we use Jenkins. Now that we have sufficient changes in the code repository, let us first commit all these into our repository and also push it to the remote repository. Open a command window and navigate to the Git workspace directory and then into the project sample web app. Type git status. It should list the files that have been changed and some files that are new. Type git add. That will add all these files to the staging area and then commit it using the git commit command. Finally, we will push it using the git push command. I am pushing it to my GitHub repository, but remember, if you want to push it to your repository, you need to add your repository as the remote using the git remote command as you have learned in the previous lectures. Go to your GitHub repository and check if the changes are visible. That brings us to the end of this lecture. Thank you.